So there's this idea of social capital in which, as a result of participating in a group or community activities, people have stronger relationships with each other, which we then use to form a strong democracy. Now, if you guys have or are currently in college, you might have heard of this book because it's pretty common reading among universities. It's called Bowling Alone by Robert D. Putnam. Now, if you don't want to read the whole book, I haven't either, in all honesty, but I would recommend looking up just a book summary if you're looking for an interesting read or just to kill 15 minutes on the toilet. But basically, what this book says, what Robert Putnam puts forth as his idea, is that since the 1950s, there has been a reduction in all forms of in person social intercourse upon which America used to found, educate, and enrich the fabric of their social lives. And he argues that this undermines the active civil engagement which a strong democracy requires from its citizens. Now, personally, I don't really align with the political or democratic stance that Robert Putnam kind of takes in his book. But I will say that growing up, I have witnessed a strange evolution in the way that people communicate because it feels like we are more technologically connected than ever before. We have Facebook, we have Skype at the click of a button. I can instantly communicate with anybody around the world, but yet our in-person social interaction, and I'm talking real social interaction, not ordering a burger from McDonald's where you are essentially filling out a database form, or essentially you are telling the person to fill out this order for you and submit it to their system. I'm talking the kind of interaction that you might get at church, or maybe like a group activity such as painting or yoga or insert hobby here. It's just interesting if we even take Facebook as an example, because we have all of these touch points, right? We can see all of the activities and really keep in touch with all of the people that are on our Facebook friends list. But yet, our interaction with those people is probably less than if we had rewound the clock to the 1950s, where there was a lot more emphasis on sort of local community. I would like to emphasize that this isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? This new technologically enabled age has allowed us to build vast social networks that were previously incomprehensible to the 1950s age, which Robert Putnam kind of idolizes in his book. So that could never have happened. But I feel as if these new massive social networks are a mile wide, but only an inch deep. And to me, that is a fundamentally necessary component to interacting with people, is like really digging deep into somebody's ideas and ideologies and beliefs. Like, to me, the most amount of fun or the most amount of intrigue that comes from having a friend are those deep 2 to 3 hour conversations in which you really kind of either work through an issue that you're having or discuss a really complex philosophical idea, for example. So, but I would like to also clarify or disclaim that I am an introvert. So I am biased by my own subjective experiences. And I will say that for the people who are extroverts and really thrive on interacting with as many people as possible, then those opportunities are in abundance for you. But it feels as if it can be harder to find those types of friends or those types of people where you really have this deep bond, right? You really either discuss the basis of your thinking, and build out a relationship with somebody instead of now how our interaction is limited to messages on Facebook and ordering from McDonald's. It just feels like we're missing a depth to our normal social interaction just because there are so many people on this friggin' planet where we don't all have time to really read a person from top to bottom. And to me, that is a fundamental component, or at least that is just why you socially interact in the first place, right? You want to get to know somebody, and it feels as if that is just not happening in this new informational age. Now, I could be entirely wrong because I am limited by my own perspective, and so maybe you guys can comment with your own thoughts below if you disagree vehemently. But I don't know, I just feel as if now the age of Facebook has enabled us in some ways, but really, quote unquote, disabled us in others, because we just don't have those sort of social ties that are strong, right? That are rock solid. Just because people tend to come and go now. And that is one lesson that I think can be gleaned from adulthood, is that without the forced social interaction that comes from these institutions such as high school or college, it is up to you, the individual, to maintain all of these social connections, right? So like you have to put in the effort to maintain your friendships, or people will drift apart, and that's just kind of the nature of it. But again, that's the advantage of Facebook, is that you have a Facebook friend and you can reconnect very easily and catch up that way. So it just feels as if our social universe is changing. The way that people communicate is changing. And it is interesting to see how the thoughts and beliefs of our younger generation are different than the older generation, because we've witnessed, basically in my lifetime, this massive shift in the way we communicate. And so that will continue to be interesting as our young people kind of age and get older, including myself. And that is one aspect of aging that I actually do look forward to, is witnessing the change in trend from one generation to the next. So anyway, again, this commentary doesn't really offer any answers or solutions, because one of my favorite activities is to ask questions and really delve into the areas of concern that we can at least, start that conversation and kind of ask ourselves, is this the right path that we want to be heading down? And that is kind of the purpose of this commentary, is to just ask that question. So anyway, that is the video, guys. If you found this video interesting, please leave a rating on it. If you enjoy this type of content, feel free to subscribe, and hopefully I will see all of you in the next video.